This video is not for kids. Go do your homework.
Happy New Year, everybody. I thought I'd hop on here today and give you a quick look at what I bought myself for Christmas. I think, have accidentally made a tradition that every year I buy myself something from the American Girl of Today line, usually something between like 1995 and 2000. And today I actually have something really awesome to show you. I didn't go all out this Christmas because pretty much every week in my house is Christmas because I'm always buying and selling stuff. So like I said, I generally have packages coming in every few days. So usually I just try and set something aside to kind of unwrap on Christmas as a gift to myself and my inner child, and it's kind of been fun every year to kind of get something from the Girl of Today line, which even though I didn't know a whole lot about it as a kid, I'd kind of aged out of dolls by the time it was released. As an adult now, I really love looking back on it and seeing all of the really interesting like current fashions of the 90s. So it's been really fun to kind of see what was going on like shortly after I lost interest, but it's still really nostalgic to me because that era of fashion was so specific and so like fun and interesting, and I really love getting to experience again through these new dolls. So anyway, let's have a look at the outfit and then I'll show you the doll I got. So the outfit I got is actually the red vinyl jumper outfit, which I absolutely love. I think this outfit is so 90s looking. It looks like something off of like Clarissa Explains It All, if you remember that show. If you're my age, you probably do. But I think this is such a cool outfit. But one of the most exciting things about this is this one hasn't had any peeling on it. Generally, when you see these, they have all these white splotches and cracks and just, you know, where they've dried out and kind of aged over the years. But this one is in pristine condition. I'm going to see if I can show you here. Maybe slightly wrinkly, but I think that will come out with time. But this thing is immaculate. And like I said, I love impossible items to find when it comes to Pleasant Company, and this is another impossible thing to find. I mean, it's so rare to find one of these in mint condition. And I got the full set too, actually. Let me show you. It came with a tights, and it came with a really nice condition beret. Again, I swear Alicia Silverstone wore something like this in Clueless. I really love this beret with a little bow on it. And it also came with these Doc Martens, and I mean, well, I guess they're not technically Doc Martens, but I mean, they're Doc Martens. And who doesn't love these? I mean, this is, again, such an iconic look of the 90s to have like a really cute dress with like big chunky black boots on. So that's one of the reasons I love this outfit is because of the boots that came with it. And these are in really great shape. So I'm excited to put them on. And finally, it came with a little polka dot underpants. And it actually also came with a few of the accessories. It's not complete, and it's missing the necklace, which is kind of a bummer, but I'm gonna try and find one. But it does have this little, I guess this is a lunchbox. And again, this is such an iconic 90s thing. I remember when people would have, as mostly girls, but I always really wanted one. And actually, that's one of the few things I actually got that I probably wasn't supposed to have as a kid. But I was able to get a lot of the Sanrio stuff. I really liked Karopi and Pickle and Bats Maru, and they had metal lunchboxes. And I had a few of those that I really, really loved. And this kind of reminds me of that, having these like metal lunchboxes like with the handle and everything. So I really love this about this set. And I think there are a few things in here actually. Let me have a look. Oh yeah, it actually came with a scrunchie as well. This probably came with the outfit. I don't think this was an accessory, but if I didn't say already, this red vinyl jumper outfit was released in 1998, and it was actually the meat outfit for the girls of today. But yeah, it came with a scrunchie, and sometimes these are hard to get. Anyway, back to the accessories. I have the metal lunchbox, which is really, really cool. I love this. It's like very industrial looking actually. And yeah, in here, all that came with it were actually just the library card and the dollar bills that came with it. I'll just show you really quickly. Library card. Boop. And she got that money, honey. Ooh, making it rain. Anyway, that's it for the outfit and accessories. Again, like I said, I didn't go all out this year. I just kind of picked two things that I really wanted, but I'm going to show you the doll. She's really cute. And here she is. I got a Girl of Today number 5. And again, I think this is actually one from the late 90s. She is not a first edition, I don't think. I thought she was going to be, or like be really close to it. But her vinyl, I think, is a little bit more firm than the early, like the first edition ones from 1995. So I have a feeling that she's probably from the late 90s. I guess if you look at her neck stamp here too, and her neck string, they don't look like first editions. So that's not really a huge deal to me because, again, the Girl of Today line is something that I kind of collect for fun. It's not something I get super serious about. And a lot of times I'll buy things and enjoy them for a while and then sell them. So I just saw her and I really had to have her. I thought she had such a cute face. And funny story, I actually saw one almost identical to her on eBay that I was really wanting quite badly, but it was priced probably, I would say, at least twice as much as she was probably worth. So I'm kind of always joke with my friends that I'm really cheap when it comes to buying dolls because I sell so many things. I don't like to sell something for less than I paid for it, basically. So I usually try and find like at least fair deals, or if not, something that's a really good deal. So I was a little bit hesitant to buy the one that I really loved, and I just kind of took a punt when buying this one. I couldn't see exactly what her face or I couldn't see exactly what her face looked like. And if you buy on eBay, you know what I mean. Sometimes, you look at photos and they've got the doll like basically like this in the photos, and you're trying to figure out like who even is this. So yeah, her photos weren't really great, but I took a chance on her, and I'm really glad I did because she looks so similar to the one that I almost spent. I think that doll was almost $200. So I'm really glad I didn't spend that much on this one. Or I didn't spend $200 on the one that was on eBay. She just kind of showed up last minute and arrived just in time for Christmas. So I'm really glad I got her. Again, I'm going to probably have to do some quick rehab on her, but nothing too bad. I'm going to have to just kind of use a magic eraser on her and maybe brush her hair and clean it a little bit. But yeah, this is my new number 5. Now that I'm thinking about it, I know a lot of you really like seeing doll restorations, and I love doing them. So I think what I'm going to do is actually run her upstairs to the studio. We'll put her under the studio lights, and I'll take the camera up there, and I'll just kind of show you what it takes to clean a doll like this up, and we'll come back and we'll have a look at her all fresh and new. But for now, see you on the voiceover. Okay, we're up in the workspace now. So I've got her all laid out here, and obviously the first thing was to get her out of this outfit. The sweater was in really bad shape. It's just a meat sweater for Molly. But she also had the corduroy pants from Molly's play outfit, I think it is. I really like these pants. I actually already have a pair of them, but I might keep these as a backup. And also she had some very interesting looking shoes from the Girl of Today line. If you know what these are, let me know in the comments. I haven't seen them before. Now that she's all naked noodle, we can start getting her cleaned up. First, I want to get her hair out of the way, just so it doesn't get dirt, because I have a feeling now that I'm looking at her, she might actually be kind of dirty. So yeah, I'm using my good old trusty magic eraser, and I just spritz it with water from a spray bottle, because I don't have running water up here, and this is the easy way to kind of get this moistened up so it works really well. And yeah, I'm just gonna basically just scrub her arms and legs, and then come back and do her feet and hands. So we got her right arm. We got her left arm, her right leg, and her left leg. And you can see here too, I'm trying to zoom in and show you, just getting this wet, you can see how the dirt is starting to basically pull up and run, and you can see a really stark difference between the clean vinyl and the dirty vinyl. I'm honestly kind of shocked at how dirty she is. You'll see here too, I actually kind of got some dirt on the towel that's underneath her, and that's one reason I always like to use a clean white towel underneath dolls when I'm cleaning, because oftentimes dirt has a way of just finding a way of spreading around, and it wouldn't be as big of a deal on this doll, but a lot of times I'm cleaning a white body doll and they can be even dirtier than this. And if you get this dirt on a white body torso, you basically have to disassemble the entire doll and clean her, and that can just end up being a disaster. So I always like to know where the dirt is. But for now, I'm not going to bother changing the towel. I think this doll's going to be fine. She's not particularly valuable, so I'm not going to stress about it too much. But it is a little gross, so sorry. I am coming in with a wet paper towel just to kind of try and sop up any excess dirt that's probably sitting on the surface. Again, I'm just trying to go over this a couple of times just to get all the dirt off, and you can see here that the paper towel is still kind of dirty, so I have a little bit more work to do. And this is probably something I wouldn't recommend doing because I'm being pretty cavalier with this doll because, like I said, I didn't spend a terrible amount of money on her and I'm being kind of impatient. So I just sprayed water directly on her and I'm kind of wiping it off with a paper towel. I would say only do that if you're not super concerned about her torso getting wet. It worked out fine in this instance, but again, this is more of a do as I say, not as I do kind of situation. Okay, and like I said, because she was so dirty, I'm actually going back over her one more time with the clean side of the magic eraser just to double check that there's no dirt left on her because, again, I'm about to put her in an outfit that's basically brand new and I don't want to get it dirty. So yeah, I just want to be sure she's super duper clean. And we can see the magic eraser is coming up pretty clean, so it looks like I got most of the dirt off of her and I'm pretty happy with this result. And I'm doing just one final pass on our hands too. The hands are always the last thing I do when it comes to the body because those little fingers like to shred magic erasers, and I actually use generic magic erasers for the most part. Like I said, I'm a little bit cheap. All right, and now the fun part, we get to clean up her face. This is a step you want to be really careful with if you haven't done this much before because magic erasers are abrasive and they will take off face paint, particularly eyebrows and lips if you're not careful. So it might look like I'm being a little aggressive here, but I promise you I'm using a very, very light touch when I'm going over her mouth and eyebrows basically. The cheeks aren't as sensitive to the magic eraser, but even still, I like to just be really careful because if a doll has really nice face paint, I want to try and keep it intact because they tend to fade over the years. So if you have a doll with like really bright face paint, it's something to try and preserve. So I try and be as careful as possible. And again, I'm just coming in with a slightly damp paper towel and just kind of wiping away like any excess magic eraser dust and just really kind of getting in and making sure I've gotten all the nooks and crannies in her face. And you can tell she's already starting to look a lot more matte, which is what we're looking for. Another thing I like to do is I actually like to take a wet Q-tip and get it in their ears. If you have a doll that's been played with, especially like an old vintage one, they always end up with crud in their ears. And so this to me is like the best thing you can do to kind of clean those out. Yeah, just a wet Q-tip and get in there and clean it like you would a human ear. Actually, that's not true. You're not supposed to use these in human ears. So I would only use this on a doll. I don't need you going to the ER because I said something stupid on the internet. And I'm just doing a very quick pass with a magic eraser on the back of her neck. I find that the cleanest vinyl on a doll is always the back of the neck because they've had the hair over top of it to protect it all those years. So the back of the neck usually isn't that dirty. So just a quick pass here and that'll be good enough. All right, and what I'm doing here is I'm actually basically avoiding washing this doll's hair. I probably should, but I'm being kind of lazy today. And like I said, I just really want to get this doll dressed and in the collection because I have so many projects to work on. I'm looking here, I'm actually in my studio. I think I have about 10 dolls that are waiting to get work done on them. So I'm going to rush this one a little bit because this one's going to go in my collection. So I can always clean her later. But what I'm doing is I'm kind of just brushing her hair outward and just kind of spreading it out horizontally. And I'm just spraying it with water and taking a paper towel just to see how much dirt is actually on this hair. And it actually doesn't look too bad. So the fact that this paper towel is kind of coming up pretty much clean, I'm not going to bother with washing her hair, I don't think. I think just this pass with the paper towel is going to be good enough. You can kind of see that she has a bald spot on the back of her head, and I think that might be the way I brushed it. Her wig is super full looking, and it's very thick, so yeah, it doesn't seem like she'd be missing that much hair, but I might have to look at that later. But for now, I'm not worried about it. And again, this is probably not normally how I would do this if I wasn't filming. Generally, I like to have a doll's head upright when I'm brushing it, just so that it's in the correct orientation for how it will be displayed. But my camera setup is not complete yet, so I'm basically trying to do things very makeshift, and this is the best way I know how to record. So again, this is probably not how I would do it if I was working on somebody else's doll, but this doll's in pretty much good shape and her hair's not super tangled, so I've just kind of laid her down and I'm just basically brushing out any minor tangles that she has. But yeah, her hair doesn't really need any work other than just kind of a quick brush. And as usual with an American Girl doll, you really want to use a wire wig brush basically. And I just use the ones that American Girl makes. I think they're really great and I have a few of them and they're my favorite to use. I think the scale is right. But I always like to have the hair pretty much damp. I don't like it sopping wet, but if it's dry, you tend to run into problems with the hair getting all staticky and frizzy. And so it's nice to have a little bit of moisture in there when you're brushing it. And here at the end, I'm just kind of gathering it all together and just trying to make sure the ends are basically tangle free. And it's got a bit of a flip at the end, if you notice. A lot of the girls of today, at least in the 90s, had a haircut where it was basically just I guess past shoulder length, and it had that little flip at the end. So you really want to kind of try and preserve that, because I've seen a lot of times where people restore these dolls, they don't put that curl back in the end, and their hair is basically like blunt at the bottom. And to me, that kind of looks incorrect. So I always like to be sure it has that like flip or curl at the end. And again, I always usually finish with a toothbrush just because the bristles are so fine. It kind of helps make sure that the hair is laid really nicely and you don't have too many flyaways or anything. To me, that's just like a really great way to finish the hair. And again, same with the bangs. I pretty much never use the wire wig brush on the bangs because it has a tendency to catch in the wig cap. So I pretty much only ever brush bangs with a toothbrush. And yeah, it's the perfect tool to use. And you can see here at the end of the wig, there are some hairs that kind of extend way too long. I don't know if you can see here, but those shouldn't be that long. And I think what's happened is some of the wefts of her wig have actually pulled a little bit. So if you really, really examine this wig closely, you're probably going to find that there are some slightly short hairs in there. But because the wig is so full, it doesn't make a big difference. The thing that's the most annoying is those long hairs at the end. So I'm basically just going to snip them off. And even though I really don't normally like to cut hairs off of dolls, because obviously they're not going to grow back, these will just look kind of distracting. So I'm just going to cut them off. And I think it's going to look better than had I just left them. So take that with a grain of salt. I generally don't like to cut wigs, but this is one of the few cases where I think it's a good idea. But yeah, with that all done, I think her wig looks pretty great. And again here, I'm just checking with a damp paper towel to make sure there's no excess dirt on her torso. Again, I don't want to take her apart and clean her all the way. I don't think she really needs it. And as long as this paper towel comes up clean, I think we'll be good. Yeah, this is going to be clean enough for me. I'm good with this. All right, and now I've got her here with her new outfit she's about to put on, and I can't wait to get this on her. I think she's going to look so cute. First, I'm going to stick the little paper pieces in her purse. I actually realized later that this is a purse and not a lunchbox, but we're going to put those away for safekeeping. All right, first I'm putting on her tights, and it always depends on the outfit what I put on first. Sometimes it's a better idea to put the dress on first, but I'm trying to leave this vinyl thing till the very end because I am pretty much terrified that it's going to rip. So I need to be really careful with that. So I'm going to put the tights on first, and I'm going to have to cut away a bunch of footage here because this took me way longer to do probably than it should have. But these tights were brand new, so they were really, really tight. And yeah, it just took forever to get them on. All right, next I'm putting on her undies, and I don't know if this is the correct order of things, but Samantha's bloomers were on top of her tights, and this seemed the most logical to me in terms of doll clothes. I didn't want to put these under the tights, so this is where they're going. And next I'm putting on her boots, and these actually aren't too bad to put on. I think the hardest shoes to put on in the entire Pleasant Company range are like Molly and Samantha's meat shoes. Those you basically need a crowbar to get on, but these actually aren't too bad. You just loosen them up really, really loose, and her foot goes in there pretty easily. All right, and next I'm putting on her black ribbed turtleneck sweater, and I really like this piece. I think it's actually a pretty versatile top that could be used with a lot of different things. So yeah, I think this one's really cool. And again, because this doll's hair isn't anything particularly fussy, I'm not going to bother trying to cover up the Velcro. This was pretty easy to put on, and it didn't get snagged on anything, so no dramas here. All right, and now for the jumper. And I think this is actually the scariest part of this whole thing because, like I said before, a lot of these, and actually I would say most of these that I've seen have had cracks and tears, and it just, they didn't age very well. And I can already tell, this one isn't going to be the most durable fabric ever. So I'm trying to be as careful as I possibly can because I'm going to be so upset if I ruin this. But in the end, I didn't have too much trouble. I was able to get it on her. I just had to go slow and be really careful. And eventually I got it on her, and I think she looks super cute in it. I ended up doing one final pass with the toothbrush on her hair just to kind of gather her ponytail together, and then I put the scrunchie on it. But I actually realized once I did this that her hair is still wet, so if I leave the scrunchie on, it's actually going to put a dent in her hair at that spot. So I'm going to let her hair dry down and then decide later if I want to put the scrunchie in. But for now, I'll probably use it as sort of a wrist accessory. Or I guess you could call that a bracelet. I don't know, whatever. It's going around her wrist. And here she is all dressed up in her new outfit. I'm going to do a couple more tweaks to her off camera just to get her hair looking a little bit better. And I'm going to put her beret on and I'm going to hop back down with the rest of the dolls and I will see you there. And this is how she turned out. I think she ended up looking pretty good. I was a little surprised about how much dirt was coming off of her. She didn't actually look that dirty, but as you saw, the magic eraser was an entirely different color by the time I was done. So I really do think that added a little bit of a new sparkle to her. And she's very matte looking, and she just has a really sweet expression on her face, which I love. But anyway, yeah, I think that this dress turned out super cute on her as well. I think I'm gonna leave her in it, especially because I'm terrified to touch it again because I feel like it's going to start cracking and then I'll be very, very sad. And now it's that time again for me to beg you to subscribe to my channel. I've been really hard at work on new videos and new ideas, and I'm having so much fun doing YouTube, and I really am excited to continue to take this channel even further. If you want to keep watching some more doll videos, I'd love to keep hanging out with you, so if you want to maybe take a look at this video right here, we can keep doing this. But anyway, until the next time I see you, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and take care of yourself, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.